I am back. It's been a hot minute, and I got my boy Adam on. It's been a minute since he's been on with me, and I've been trying to drag his ass to the new studio so we could talk some shit today. Tell him about yourself a little bit, Adam, because this is going to be some new subscribers, some new followers onto the channel, because it's been a while since I had you on here.
Yeah, well, you and I go way back. I hired you, almost 20 years ago, I think, to be a personal trainer.
Yes.
You were one of my top dogs, and we became friends after that, remained in good contact forever. But I've been in the fitness business ever since. So I've been doing it for almost 25 years now. Got together with a handful of buddies of mine, and we built one of the largest health and fitness podcasts and now fitness platforms in general. So we're a full-blown media company, personal training studio, all above. And I've been doing that for now over 10 years. And so that's what I do now, and it's what I've been doing for a really long time. And like you and I go way back. So this is always a pleasure to be on here.
And you know what's cool, man? I got to give you your flowers and kudos is Adam hired me knowing that I just got out of prison 2 years before he hired me. And I told him, I had a criminal record. I did this, did that. And he was like, I don't care. So what? I just care about your work ethic. And back then, it was still shunned, hiring an ex-felon. People still kind of look down on it. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you saw, somebody asked me that in a live not that long ago. They asked if I would hire somebody, and I think I tagged you that. So no, I've definitely done that before. I just, one, I believe in second chances. Two, I think, a man's character is far more important than like his past history. Like, I think we've all, and I'm definitely guilty of having plenty of mistakes and things that I've done in my life, especially if you had a hard upbringing. Not all of us come from, a household where we had a mom and dad and a good balance. And, sometimes that a lot of people have gone and learned the hard way, about life. And so I've got a lot of empathy for anybody who's been down that path. And what I'm looking at are the characteristics, the character of the man that I'm looking at that moment, not what happened 5-10 years ago. And I felt like I saw that in you when we first met. And I like to think that you proved me right over the course of the next few years. So worth it.
It's crazy how many marriages and relationships came out of that gym, right?
You know that Katrina, actually, even though her and I, the irony of this is she dated one of our other trainers, Paulo, before me. And so I'm the one who ended up marrying her and being with her. But you've got Paulo and Erica that are still together. You have Ronnie and Melody that are still together. You've got the two of you guys are still together. Katrina and I are still together.
Yeah,
a lot of good energy around that gym. I don't know, something about that gym in South San Jose that just it created a lot of good relationships that are still good and healthy today. So it's pretty cool to see today.
It's kind of crazy. It's like something out of a movie, because I still have friendships from that gym to this day.
Yeah.
From back in the day, it's like, man, what's so special? My wife and I talk about that. Like, this gym. Something that was special in this gym. There was a lot of relationships made. And also, I knew your wife before you even knew her.
Yeah.
She was a cool girl. We always talk like boating and sports, and I remember.
Yeah. No, I think that's a testament to the culture. I think, at least what I understand and know about building a business and the importance of culture. And any time you've ever experienced a really successful business or company, you tend to you feel it when you walk in. You can feel the energy from the front desk to the people that are working out in there to the trainers. And that gym, we built an incredible culture. We had an incredible team from top to bottom in there. And I think that attracted incredible members, and it was very successful. And I think it bred all the things that we talk about in there of the success, relationships, marriages that happen because of it. And I think it's a testament to that environment and the culture that was built.
Yeah, man, it was unreal, because before I even went to ask you for a job or even thought about applying there, I'd stop by there. I heard about the gym. I stopped by there. I was visiting San Jose. At the time, I was living in Salinas. I stopped by there, got a workout in, and I was like, damn, this is a cool-ass gym. And I started manifesting, like, I want to work here. I don't want to live in Salinas no more. I was with my ex-girlfriend. I didn't like that town. It wasn't for me. I was like, I got to get out of here. And I manifested. I got to find somebody to talk to. And my fitness manager in Salinas at the time happened to know Barbara, and she put in a call to set me up with you. And I was like, boom, and just crazy how things fell into place, man. Your life trajectory is because those, you put your plans into place, and here we are 20 years later.
Oh,
still
totally.
in contact, still friends,
Culture, manifestation, relationships. I think those are all really powerful words and mean a lot to me. I think that that whole environment is a testament to all that.
So what got you into personal training? I never asked you that. Like, what got you into the business?
I've kind of fell into it, to be honest. I moved to San Jose to finish my degree in kinesiology. Now, although kinesiology is the study of human movement and is something that a lot of trainers have, I didn't take that as a real career. So when I was 19 years old, I didn't know that like personal training was like a real career. And really it was just coming on the scene at that time as far as like a real career. There wasn't a lot of trainers walking around making good money. And I was very money motivated as a young kid because we didn't have very much. And so I was going to kinesiology because I wanted to be a physical therapist, or maybe a personal trainer for a professional football team or something. Like that's kind of the ambition that I had. And I moved in with my grandmother on Capitol McKee in San Jose, and the apartments across the street from 24 Hour Fitness. I walked over there because I worked out. I was a kid who played sports, was athletic, and lifted weights. And so I was going over there to get a membership. And when I was getting a membership, they found out in the form they asked, how you heard about us, and I had said that I'd seen commercials about 24 Hour Fitness and that I was going to school for kinesiology. And instantly, the fitness manager came over and introduced himself and said, "Hey, how would you like a job here?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not." I said, "I don't have a degree and I'm just starting." And he says, "No, we send you to school here and we have this whole university through us and we can certify you." And I was like, well, I'm really here to finish my degree, and so I could only go part-time. He's like, "Yeah, you could do part-time too." And I said, "Okay, well," he's like, "Take this test." So I took the test, I passed the test, and then literally was hired as a part-time trainer originally. And at this time, you have to understand too that I came from, a job where I worked my way from $4.50 an hour up to $7 an hour. So
I remember those days.
At this point in my life, I've never made more than $7 an hour. Here I am in the Bay Area working part-time as a personal trainer and making really good money really quick. And so every 2 weeks when I got paid, my paycheck kept growing. And a lot of that was because you get paid extra money when you're actually servicing a client. You get paid commissions on supplement sales. You get commissions on personal training sales. And I was doing really good. And I liked it. I liked interacting with people. I was into that anyways. And so I was each week more money. I was making more money, and I was loving the job. And so I had a really hard decision to make when the semester was coming up to enroll, because at that time already the bosses were telling me like, "You were made for this. Like you should really consider going full time and you would be a manager in no time here." And I was like, remember I'm only 19, 20 years old right now. And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm here for school." And then I was wrestling with it because I loved it so much. And so I made a commitment. I told myself, give myself 1 year. Okay, if these guys are telling me the truth and I can make all this money and I can become a manager and all these things, like, then I'm going to pour everything I got into this job for 1 year. And in 1 year, I'll still only be 21 years old. So I'm still young enough to go finish college. I'm not like old. And if it works out, it works out. And within a year's time, I was promoted up into management and leading my own team. And my very first year made $67,000. And then I made $90,000 the second year.
Wait, how old were you at that time you made 90?
21, 22 years old.
And how old are you right now?
So I'm 44 right now.
You know what that kind of money is back then?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I bought my first house at 22.
Oh, man.
So then the next year after that, because I'm living with my grandmother, and all I'm doing is working, making that kind of money. So I was just socking money away, and bought my first condo at 22 years old in the Bay Area, and realized like, oh, I could absolutely make a living out of this thing. And quickly got to a place where I was passing all my friends that were working towards their degree and everything. And so kind of never looked back because I loved what I was doing. And I was good at it to make good enough money. I don't think I was a great trainer yet. But I had a natural gift for communicating and relationship building. And a lot of personal training is communication, relationship building. I didn't have quite the education and the knowledge and the experience that came later. But what I did have early on was the passion for the job, the love for people, and the love for what I was doing. And so, that's kind of how it fell into my lap, and I just kept doing it and got better and better every year. And then by the time you met me, I would say I was pretty honed in as a leader and a manager. I think by the time you and I met, I'm already 8 years deep into like management.
It was 2007 when I met you.
Yeah. So I'm about 6, 7 years deep. I'm 6, 7 years deep by that time. I'd already managed 2 other clubs before that. So at that point, I would consider myself a veteran, and I was already a top producer and manager, and still developing and had a lot to learn still. but was much further along than I was when I probably first came on.
That's crazy how it fell into your lap. While everybody was getting degrees, and it's kind of crazy because people get a degree and you're paying these schools hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're going into debt right away. So right there, you're already against the A ball.
Yeah,
you're already in the red.
I had a lot. I was one of the few friends that didn't go. Like I had a lot of friends that went off to not only get their bachelor's, got their master's. I have some PhD friends, and yeah, a lot of them. Shit, some of them are still paying that school debt off today in our 40s. They're still paying that stuff, and so. Yeah, school can be great, but it's not for everybody. It probably wasn't for me. I ended up reading more and learning more outside of school than I ever did in school because I had a passion for this. I had a passion for leadership. I did read a lot, but it was on my terms, the things that I wanted to read, and I still attribute a lot of that to my success. But the traditional brick and mortar school structure was probably not for me. Looking back now, like I'm glad it played out the way that it played out.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. Even Elon says it's like I hire people smarter than me who got Harvard degrees, who have PhDs. But if you got that hustle in you, that dog in you, you can get anywhere in life. And I remember when you first were training me, you're like, just apply what you did to this. Yeah. And I knew I'm a people person. I'm an extrovert. I'm not shy. And I know how to hustle. And I know how to talk. And I know with personal training, you got to just connect with people. Yeah. Connect. So I started connecting with people, saying hello to them, introducing myself and just basically telling them, you need assistance, help, I'm here for you. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how I started building myself up.
Yeah.
I just took what I knew from the streets to this. Yeah. And I knew as long as I have that hustle in me, that I can make it happen. Because at first, let me rewind though. Let me tell you how I got into personal training, bro. Just trip on this story. So I'm in prison. Within my first 6 months, I got a guy that I'm friends with in there comes up to me and says, hey, there's a dude coming in or they're going to teach a personal training course in here. And I'm thinking like, is this for real? He goes, yeah, it's for real. I go, are we able to use this on the streets? Like, is this legit? Yeah, because I'm thinking like, what am I going to do the rest of my life? At that time, I thought like, man, life's over. I'm locked up. No one's going to hire me. Negative, you're in there. I said, all right, I went for it. It was a National Federation of NFPT. I did it. Passed the course. All the other inmates were quitting. It was too hard for them. They couldn't grasp it. I passed. Said, all right, this is what I'm going to do when I get out. I love training just like you. I love working out. So I took a shot at it, and I enjoyed it like you. You have to enjoy the things in life.
I think the secret to being good at something is, anytime I talk to younger kids that are trying to find what is your passion or how did you find this? I think the key to it is, what are the things that you're going to do when nobody else is watching and you're not getting paid? And so what are the things at 9 o'clock at night when everyone's gone to bed, you're on your phone Googling or reading about, or what are you picking up online and searching the internet about? Lean into those things. And so I was so into fitness and working out, and later on it became leadership and neuroscience and other things like that. It's like the key, I think, to really being successful is leaning into the things that you're already passionate about. Because if you become somebody who tries to do a profession that you don't enjoy doing, you quickly start counting the hours of like how much your effort you're putting in, the work to be divided by the hourly you're making. And I tell you what, if I counted all the hours I worked towards this profession, I'd be very discouraged by the hourly rate that I was getting paid, because I was doing it day and night all the time, because I loved it though. So it didn't feel like work. And I think that's a hack into being very successful, is finding those things that you would research or do on your own, even if you weren't getting paid.
That's a very good tip right there, you guys. You better take that. It's free game. And that's what I loved about working with you guys at 24 Hour, working for you. We're always like trying to like level up and be better.
Yeah.
I was always trying to be a better version of myself. How can I be a better trainer? How can I bring more to the team? Because let's be honest, for 24 Hours Fitness, they're very money motivated. So you had to bring in certain dollars.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to out hustle myself. Like, what can I do this month?
Yeah.
What can I break? And I remember breaking my first $10,000 a month. I was like, damn. And in that era,
yeah,
we're talking 18 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a lot of loot.
Yeah, it was a big deal. It was a big deal back then. Yeah, no, before you and I worked together, I seen a really important stat, and I wish somebody had showed me that earlier in my career. And we were at this meeting with all the managers, and they shoot up on the projector a trainer who produces this much in revenue a month, a trainer that stays longer than 1 year, and what the chart had shown was a trainer with one national cert produces on average this much money and stays a trainer for this long. And it was like, just, I don't remember the exact numbers, but just say for hypothetical reasons, $3,000 they average and they stay for 1 year. A trainer that has 2 national certifications stays for 3 years and averages $5,000 a month. A trainer that has 3 national certifications stays for 7 years and produces $7,000. So what I saw quickly, I was like, oh my God, like if I can just get my team educated, the money will come and the turnover will slow down. It was very obvious. And so something I did at our club that was not approved was I used to pay the trainers on Fridays to teach each other and help each other through their national certs. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I remember I had Adam and, oh my God, the female trainers slip in my mind. I had 2 of my really smart trainers would take the trainers through certifications on Fridays, and I would pay them their fit hours to do that, which was not approved and okay by the company to do that. But I knew that if I could just get them their certifications up and get them all to master trainers, that it would pay myself back and the company back. And it did exactly that. So for a couple months, you know, I was spending a lot of money on them getting educated, but the return on that investment was incredible. And that was one of the best teams we ever had when we had all these master trainers and they were producing $8 to $10,000 a month and just crushing with the staff we had. And I attribute it to figuring that piece out. I went, man, I wish I would have known that sooner because I would have put more energy into that. Now I've taken that to me into my business today. Like we implement things like that. Like it's really important to my staff and our trainers now that like we put a lot of energy, we invest a lot in growing and education. And so you'll walk into if you guys were to cruise by my studio right now, there's a good chance you will see 5, 6 of my trainers sitting around in a circle, laptops out, and they're teaching each other. Like that's like highly encouraged, and we pay you to do that. It's like you're on the clock, you're growing, you're getting better at your craft. Like we pay for that. So it's something that we've built into our team today, and because I've learned that through the years of coaching and training.
That's crazy because you told me that. And I remember I had my little NFPT, then I sought my NCSF after that, National Council of Strength and Fitness, and then you said, go for NASM. And I went for NASM, and I said, well, you need 2,000 hours to be a master trainer, was it?
Yeah.
Got that too.
Yeah.
So I was like, challenge accepted. And I was always trying to educate myself. And I'm always still trying to educate myself. I watch you guys' podcast, so I learn things. We always pick things up. There was a woman that asked an interesting question, you guys. She said, I gained 6% body fat, but the scale only went up 4 pounds. I like the way I did the math on that. Like, no, the math ain't math. And we started doing the math like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
There's no way you gain 6% body fat. It only went up 4 pounds.
Yeah.
The math ain't mathing.
Yeah, it happens a lot with body fat tests can be really inaccurate. And even though what you'll read is like a 0.5% to 1%, some will say as high as 2%. I remember when I was competing, I actually intentionally tried to manipulate them to see how much I could skew a body fat percentage. And I could manipulate one of those in-body scans, which is they're touted as some of the most accurate ones at like 1 to 2% error. I could change it between 5 and 6% within hours. And what you can do is, because it's just scanning the body, and when you manipulate water in and out of your muscles, so your muscles hold a lot of water. They're mostly water. And so if you go into, let's say, a body fat test, say first thing in the morning, completely dehydrated, no glycogen, so you didn't eat any food, no water, and you read and the test says you're at 12% body fat, let's say, and then you pound a gallon of water, you eat 300 grams of carbohydrates, and then you come right back, that thing might show that you dropped all the way down to 6% body fat. And that's because it just filled up all those muscle bellies full of water, and that will get registered as more muscle, more lean mass on your body. And so it will look like you gained 6 to 7 pounds of muscle within 2 or 3 hours, which we know that you didn't do that. All you did was you filled the muscle bellies up with glycogen and water, and it'll throw that. So those tests can be, and if a client doesn't understand that, and they just willy-nilly go get a body fat test because a trainer or someone told them to go do it, they didn't pay attention to how much they ate or drank before going into that test, and then 4 weeks later or 6 weeks later, they come back and they take the test again, and they don't mirror the same food and water intake in the time of day that they took it, it can drastically misrepresent somebody's. So those things can be very deceiving. And if a person doesn't understand that, can be really discouraging, because sometimes somebody can be on the right path, doing all the right things, but then the test read the wrong direction, and then the person corrects their course when they were already heading the right direction. Then they go, oh God, they freak out, they cut calories, they start running on the treadmill, and it's like, oh no, they were actually doing perfect, but they had no idea because they didn't understand how those tests can be off like that. So that's an example of that.
That's very good right there, because my wife tells her clients that all the time. They freak out.
Yeah.
Well, the scale's up. The scale doesn't tell the whole story.
No.
Are you getting stronger?
Yeah.
Is your clothes fitting better?
Yeah.
How are you feeling? How's your energy? How's your mood?
Yeah.
How's everything? You got to pay attention to all that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think that's a good coach and trainer understands how to do this, how to communicate all the other things that you get from strength training and dieting, because clients can get really hung up on the scale and the mirror, and those can be deceiving. I mean, even the mirror, someone might go, oh my God, but I look terrible too. Well, you could also be inflamed. You can eat a food that you're intolerant to, and so you have this kind of gut inflammation, which causes systemic inflammation, which causes your body to hold water all over it, which looks like bloat or could look like fat to you in the mirror. And it's like, no, you didn't get fat today. You ate something that your gut didn't agree with. Your body got inflamed, then held water. The holding of 3 to 5, and you know this because you've cut weight before, and you know how much water weight you can fluctuate by cutting carbohydrates or sauna and sweating. And so the body has this incredible ability to retain and hold water and release water. And when you are battling inflammation, your body tends to hold a lot more water. And so if you ate something that you were intolerant to, then you'll get this systemic inflammation. And to the consumer or the average client, they'll just interpret that as, oh my God, I got fat, or I don't look good, because they see their body looks puffy. And to them, they think it's fat, but it's really, no, their body's just holding water right there. So,
and something I learned from your boy Sal, man, he said, I never knew this. He said, don't weigh yourself after a hard-ass workout the day before, because your body, it causes inflammation.
Yeah.
It causes your whole body. I never thought about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I have a rule for myself and for clients, is that we never want to judge ourselves, so if I take a look at the mirror or the scale and we are monitoring our body fat and we're not happy with it, I'm always like, hey, let's stay the course for the next 3 days in a row and see how we feel. Because many times within the 72-hour time period, that inflammation will come down, or you will feel better, the water will get released. And then all of a sudden you'll go like, oh, okay, I do look better. And it was just in that moment when I looked at myself in the mirror or got on the scale, I was holding extra water. And there could be a whole host of things. The food intolerance is just one of them. But you could, you have a female client that's in the middle of her cycle and her period, she can be having it. You could have somebody who had a crazy stressed out day, and that just the stress will cause that. And so there's a lot of things that you can, or a really, really hard workout causes inflammation in the body. These are all good things. It's part of the process of recovery, building muscle, and it's totally normal, but it also causes the body to do these physiological things that not everybody knows how to interpret correctly. And so with experience, you start to learn this as a trainer, and then you learn how to communicate that to clients. And so, yeah, this is stuff that, you're talking about decades later for me of like really honing in on that conversation and learning how to communicate that to a client. But that ability to do that really helps a lot of people out who probably are doing a really good job, but are discouraged because of one day of looking a certain way or weighing a certain way.
I know. I wish what we know now we knew back then.
Of course.
Like tracking macros, like the importance of prioritizing protein. My dumb ass doing too many HIIT workouts, trying to shed the weight off, no.
It's also what makes, though, because that part of you, and I can agree that I went down similar paths, you've experienced it. And so there is a level of, you can have all the education and knowledge and understand the science on how to communicate something, but there's another level is, I also did those dumb things. I also thought I was fat when I looked in the mirror that day. And I think that gives you an even better way to be able to communicate to the client, because not only do you now understand the science, or you do understand that, but then you've also experienced it. And so there's another layer to that I think is important, that was probably good that you did all those things and went through that, because you know the psychology of why you did those things and how it felt when you did it. And so you can tap into more than just, here's the science of why you don't do that. Here's also, I get the psychology of what drives you to want to do that, because I used to be attracted to those workouts too and do those things because I thought that's what was best for me. So, I think it helps the fact that we also made those mistakes too. So
yeah, that's true. You only learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what's your opinion or thoughts of today's coaches online that proclaim they're coaches, but yet punch a clock in other professions? Electrician, plumbers, call it what you want. A bunch of those out there, but they don't have no education behind it. But all of a sudden, they lost some weight, hired a coach, but then now they're opting to be a coach.
Well, I knew we were going to get here eventually in this conversation. Yeah. I know you were itching to talk to me about this. I've been paying attention to this for a long time now because we've been in the Instagram, podcast, YouTube space for over a decade now, and so I've seen a lot of these people come and go. And there's a lot of what I would call grifters that have found a way to monetize their audience really well by selling them coaching on how to become a coach or how to coach others or sell coaching to other people.
Facts.
And it's a bit like a pyramid scheme. So, and it's really, really popular where you get somebody either one that has they're gorgeous, they look good, they got a crazy body. The other hack or angle is flaunting like I'm rich. Look at all my Bugattis and my yachts and all the things. And so it's like, and what that is to the untrained eye or the naive consumer is that looks like social proof. Like, oh shit, he drives this car. He must be balling and making all this money.
Yep.
He must really know what he's talking about. I should hire this guy. And so without really thinking another layer to that, because I've seen it so much, it's really easy for me to take it to the next layer and go like, okay, well, this coach that is selling this $5,000 coaching course, what business has he built? And if the business is the business of selling people coaching, well, that's not really the business. I mean, that's the pyramid scheme. That's like, I'm going to teach you how to do the same pyramid scheme that I'm doing to you if I pay you $5,000. That is completely different than you go getting coaching or hiring a executive who is already exited 5 companies. He's worth $150 million because he's built X, Y, and Z company and sold this one and that one. And he's got the proof and the track record of building multiple businesses, exiting for millions of dollars. And now he's at a place in his life where he's near retirement and he takes on a couple cases like me or you and says, yeah, Mike, for 50 grand a year, I'll meet with you on a weekly basis and I'll help you with your business. That is, and that's what, if someone ever were to get the money from me, I would want to see that. Show me the businesses that you have built before so I can see your track record. And then I can decide, is that similar enough of a business that I'm trying to build that I think, okay, that's a worthwhile investment. But in this social media game that we play, in this world that we play now, like anybody who can garner the attention of millions of people now has this ability to grift on all these people by making them think that they're these great business operators or entrepreneurs, when all they're really good at is convincing these people that they know something that they don't know. And if I can charge you thousands of dollars to teach you that, and then their social proof is the lavish lifestyle they lead, and it's just like, no, it's all a grift. And it's also easy for me. I was pointing this out to a friend of mine the other day. He's like, well, how do you know this person, that person? So do the math. 90% or 80% of all businesses fail, okay? So only 20% are successful in the first place. Of 20% that are successful, less than 10% of those ever make $1 million a year. Of those that make $1 million a year, less than 2% ever make tens of millions of dollars. So if you just simply do the math on how rare it is that you guys will ever meet somebody who makes tens of millions of dollars a year.
Rare.
So rare. You're going to be, unless you're hanging out in very, very select circles,
yes,
you're going to be lucky to cross a handful of those entrepreneurs in your life. Yet Instagram would have us believe that every other kid is worth tens of millions of dollars. So it just doesn't math for me. I understand those statistics in business, that the likelihood that these people are worth that. And then another layer to this, and it's like, well, they're still paying for a Bugatti, Adam. I know that a Bugatti payment's $50,000, $60,000 a month. Well, okay, well, the other hack is this. A lot of these dudes are running those cars through the business. They're saying that it's marketing and advertising. And let me tell you, I ran it by my CPA to see if this was something that I could potentially do because I'm a car guy. And he's like, listen, Adam, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth the risk to put yourself out there to try and run that under the business. And I know of people that have already been hit by the IRS that do this. And these are YouTubers that have built their entire business around cars. So these are guys that are legitimately build their whole business around car reviews and car things. And even the IRS is saying no to them, that no, this ain't going to fly. So a lot of these dudes that are doing this right now are getting away with it currently right now. And so you have somebody, let's say, is making $100,000 a month. And instead of paying the government taxes, they're like, I'll just get a Bugatti payment and I'm going to write 60,000 of that 100,000 income off. And so now they're really only making $40,000 a month. And then they'll go, oh, let me go get my mansion that I'm going to rent for $30,000 a month. And so now they leverage that and they say that's all part of the business also. And so now they're only making $10,000 a month that they have to pay taxes on. And then they also find creative ways to probably write those things off and say, oh, well, I use my watches and my jewelry for advertising on my Instagram. And so I write that shit off too. So all they're really doing is tax evasion, like in a creative way. And it's only a matter of time before the jig is up and the IRS comes after your ass, or enough people go through your coaching course that realize, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. This guy's just teaching me how to do the same thing he's doing to me right now. He's actually not really teaching me business principles on how to be there. And so we got a lot of that going on the internet right now. And I think a lot of it's going to get turned upside down once the IRS gets around to it. And I already know some of the car guys on YouTube have already got nailed for that. And they've got some back taxes to pay for right now. Now, luckily, some of those guys are making so much money on YouTube, they're just going to be paying the IRS for the next 25 years. But still, it's not a place, it's not a game I'd want to play. And for the average consumer, if you were thought about hiring one of these business coaches, the question you just got to ask yourself is like, what businesses did you build? And if the answer is my coaching business, that's not impressive. It's not impressive to sell a coaching business online and the only way you've ever made millions of dollars is selling that coaching business. That doesn't tell me that you have any real business knowledge or the ability to scale a real business. And that's not to throw hate or shade on the game or the person that's hustling it. It's just me making you privy to like what's really going down. And I remember when you first brought me some people that I'm like, I can quickly see like right away. Like it takes a little bit of digging to look into somebody and go like, okay, well, this person has no real history of any real businesses that they've built, but they're selling a coaching course for $5,000 a month. It's like, yeah. And I just think that eventually a lot of people start to figure that out. They figure it out. But if you got enough followers and you're bringing on 1,000 new people every month on Instagram, you can get away with it for quite some time, you know? So it's very, very popular in our space. But just keep that in mind, that the rarity to find somebody who, it's such a gem. If you get the opportunity to meet somebody who does $1 million a year in business, that you already are, that's a good person to talk to. $1 million of revenue in a real business is a very hard thing to do that very few people ever reach. And so those are great people to talk to, especially if they have a legitimate business you can look at and go like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you, that could be anything. It could be an ice cream shop, it could be a laundromat, it could be a personal training business, it could be anything. But if someone's doing that kind of revenue and they've been doing that kind of revenue for a long time, like that's a legit business operator. Somebody who's got famous on Instagram that's selling coaching courses for that much is, I don't think, a business savant, in my opinion.
What do you see? Cause you've been in the game a long time. You know, you're a vet. You've been on this game where we were trainers. We made money. We didn't flaunt what we made. We didn't show off our cars, and we definitely didn't bring damn religion into it. All these coaches, I hate to say it, and I'll probably get blasted heat, but all of a sudden everybody's religious now.
Yeah,
that's another little pet peeve of mine. Is like, you weren't talking about church and God before, but all of a sudden you're speaking God, because I know what you're trying to attract.
Yeah,
you're trying to attract those people with the pom poms. Hey, listen, I believe in a higher power, I believe in God. I'm just not ultra religious, but a lot of these guys now are bringing religion into fitness.
Yeah, there's two things right there to talk about. I'll address the latter, the religious one right now. There is quite a bit of a religious revival right now, and I think that's a testament of how society swings the pendulum. I think I think we would all agree here 5 years ago, we went really hard the opposite direction of religion. So if you can think of religion as a very conservative, morally based value, like conservative is religion on the right. And, be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want, kind of woke culture is the far left.
Yeah.
I'd say 3 years ago, we were extreme on the left.
Yeah.
And what happens in society, and has always happened in society, is we tend to swing like a pendulum back and forth. What I think kids today, or just people today, are witnessing is the swinging of that pendulum faster than we ever have before. So 20 years ago, the conservative and liberal movement has always swung back and forth, right? You might get 2 presidents in a row that are conservative, then you go back liberal, and it takes a decade or so for it to swing. Because of social media and how fast information moves today, it's just swinging faster and harder. And so part of probably what you feel isn't all nefarious or bad. I think part of it is just natural, but you really feel it. I mean, I was telling my wife the other day, I even noticed it in the content on Netflix. And I mean, it was just 3 years ago where I was telling her, like, oh my gosh, do I have to watch another one of these woke angled shows? I'm so over it. I was just bitching about that 3 years ago. Now I'm like, oh my God, this one's talking about church. And this was like, whoa, that turned really fast. Like we went all this way just recently, and then all of a sudden we went the other way. And so I think what you feel is a religious revival that's happening right now. I don't know. I don't think it's all bad, but I definitely know that with that comes your grifters, come with people that see it.
That's the point I was trying to get to.
There's the people that see it
for monetary purposes.
Yeah. And they're going to attach themselves to it because that's built-in community. These are people I trust, I like. And so 100%, I think there's going to be grifters on both sides. And I think that that's a part of what you feel right now. What was the other one? You said the religious revival, and then what was the other one that you're pointing out that I was going to address after that? But the religious revival, I think, is a real thing that's happening. I mean, Sal talks about the studies on it, or the research on it right now. This is the first time in history, young men, teenage men, are seeking religion and God. It's always been led by women and older women for as long as history can. So there's something happening right now that are causing young men to want it. Now, our theory, or my theory, is that I think men are seeking a little bit of discipline. They want a little bit of rigidness and morals and rules. We've been playing the other way for so long that there is this natural desire to have something or to believe in something bigger than yourself. And so I think we're seeing that. But yeah, the grifters will come out because of that. And so be wary of that. Be wary of the influencer, the person that, puts the Bible verse in their bio, but then they're like half naked pictures, or they're doing, it's like, I don't know, man. You're right. There's a lot of it, and there's more of it now than I think there was just 2 years ago. And I think that's the reason why we're seeing that right now too.
And I feel like the whole fitness industry, because it's like part of it's coaching, mindset coaching. Let me get your mind right. Let me get you alcohol and drugs. And part of it is fitness, and it's getting skewed, and a lot of people are confused who's real, who's not. And, there's certain individuals out there, because they're flashing a lot of stuff. I mean, I'll say it. Wes Watson, what do you think of that guy? Like, he created a whole slew of coaches who, they want that lifestyle.
They do. And I think he's an example I was thinking of when I was giving the example of the Bugatti and all the things like that, because I think that that's appealing to, that would appeal to me as a young teenage boy, right? As a young teenage boy, I came from nothing. I was attracted to money, success, to a young man. That's cars, women, jewelry, all those things. I think that it's natural that you're kind of attracted to that, especially when you're younger. I think that as you get older and a little bit wiser, I think you realize that what comes with that too, the attention. I think you also realize that that's something you end up worshiping. I was lucky to have some good mentors in my life that I remember talking to me early on, well before I had a lot of money. And they would always tell me, like, Adam, you'll just keep moving the goalpost. It doesn't, you think that you just want this car, you just want this thing. It's just like, you'll just keep, like, you will end up worshiping that. And I think that, and I'm also a believer of this, is like, whether you believe in a God and a higher power, there is always something that you're worshiping, whether you believe it or not. And that what that is, it's the main thing that drives you. And so that can be something greater than yourself and believing in God. That can be cars. It could be power. It could be pleasure. It could be a lot of different things. But I think that's a trap that a lot of young men get hooked into, is they see that, they think that lifestyle is going to provide a lot, and it tends to be an empty hole. I mean, I remember when I got there. So for me, it was before this business, I reached that number for me. So I had, as a young kid, I thought, if, man, when I get to the place where, I've got a $500,000, $1 million, like that's it. That's the pinnacle for me. And like, that's so much money. I'll be able to do all the things I thought of. And I remember when that dollar amount reached my bank account, and it's crazy because I was
Which dollar amount?
$500,000. So I'd stacked up which means I made over $1 million by this time, but I had saved $500,000. I remember literally looking at $500,000 and going, and before thinking like that's the place. When I got to that place, I was the most unhappy I'd ever been. I was the most out of shape I'd ever been. I just had my girlfriend at the time cheat on me. I did not have a good connection and relationship with my close family members and some of my closest friends. And I was doing a lot of crazy. I was going to Vegas every month, and I was shopping every week. And I remember I just had this kind of epiphany where I went, oh my God, like I reached this place that I wanted to be at but that drove me for so long. And I'm the most unhappy and satisfied as I've ever been in my life. And so I feel really blessed that I got to get to that place, in my late 20s. I reached that place, but it was so good for me because it made me go, oh wow, there's more to this than just that. And that's not going to fulfill me, is more cars, more money, more that. Now, granted, I have more of all of that today. The irony is that wasn't the focus, which is crazy, was when I left that business, when I was in that, this is back when I was in medical marijuana. When I left that, the pursuit of the fitness thing wasn't money driven. Because let me tell you, going to try to be a wealthy, rich personal trainer is not, the odds of that are way against me. Oh, staying in the marijuana business and going that route would have been a much better route if I was driven by money. But I'd already reached that place and realized that wasn't the answer for me. And I remember having this kind of self-talk going like, well, what is it? What do I want? Well, what do I love? Well, I love fitness. I love helping people. Okay, well, I've got enough money stacked up that I didn't even need to make any money. So I really was like, how am I going to go create a job for myself in that space, since I love doing that? And that was the building of my Instagram page, the fitness business, what later on led to Mind Pump. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go be rich, or, oh, I'm going to make all this money. It was like, I'm going to go do what I love to do. And that's going to be my North Star, because I already made all the money I thought I wanted to make. And that didn't lead to happiness. So that's not going to be the focus. The irony was focusing on the thing where my passion was, what I love to do and what I wanted to be doing, ended up leading to significantly more money than the marijuana business did. But that wasn't the North Star, that wasn't driving. And so I do think that hopefully kids or anybody that's young that's watching have this epiphany that if you set it on the materialistic things like the Bugattis and that type of attention, even if you get it, which is, you're already rare if you do, but even if you do get it, you'll be unfulfilled. And it won't give you the feeling that you think you are. You've got to figure out the thing that gives you joy, the thing that you're passionate about. Otherwise, the money thing, it'll leave you empty and seeking more. And it's a thirst that you can never quench. And so best thing that ever happened to me was going through that rough year and realizing that that wasn't it, and then led me the other direction, which ultimately led to more of that stuff. But it's like I have such a different relationship with all those things. They could go away tomorrow. And I even operate from a place, where I live way low below my means. And that's why I can go through a year that's been challenging financially for us this year and doesn't stress me out because, yes, I'm going to make a few $1 million less this year than I did the previous year, but it won't change my lifestyle. My lifestyle will be exactly the same as it was last year and the year before because I'm not chasing that leveling, showing a bigger level and showing a bigger level. And that's a trap, man. That's what a lot of those guys like who you're talking about, they promote that lifestyle. And
he's just one of many.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot.
They're all doing it now.
Yeah,
even all his coaches are doing it now.
So they're also miserable as fuck too, bro. They're so miserable.
Listen, you know how you win at life? Is having what you and I have. A beautiful woman strong by your side. Through thick and thin. A lot of these guys don't have that.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
A lot of these guys will go away. Let's just say they catch a case, everything's going to disappear. Their friends, their girlfriends, their mistresses, they're gone. They don't realize that, but I see it because I've been through that. Yeah. I've lost my freedom. Yeah. These people are all going to disappear. They're going to turn their back and be like, bye, you're yesterday's news.
You just said something, and I texted my nephew the other day that he's young. He's in his early 20s. And I said the single most important decision you'll ever make as a young man is the woman that you decide to settle down with.
Facts.
100%.
Facts. That's everything.
The woman that you decide to spend life with is the most important decision. I mean, more important than the career path you take, the business you decide to do. It's the woman you choose to do life with, because if you choose correctly, you will be better at everything that you do. If you choose incorrectly, boy, is it going to be a rough, it'll be a rough story for you. And or you'll be on to the next one and then on to the next one, and in a vicious cycle of trying to find that one. Like finding the right woman is, I mean, 100%, I am where I'm at because of my wife. She allows me to do what I do best, and she takes all the other stuff off my plate. And together as a team, we've been able to dominate. And there's no way that I would have been successful without her, but nowhere near the level that we reached. And it's because I had a partner like that. So I tell all the younger generation, like, man, choose wisely. That woman will make all the difference in your life for sure.
I tell all these player dudes, like, it's all fun and games. I've been there before. Yeah. But you know what? That gets old real quick. If you don't have that, if you're not with someone, you don't have that power couple together, forget about it.
Dude, I'm with you. I did all that fun stuff too. I lived that for a long time, and it pales in a comparison of having the one right chick that's with you. That is way better, way. And you know, back to the guy we're talking shit about right now is, you know, they're promoting that bachelor, be with lots of women. You're this alpha dude. Dude, so right? Unattractive, so unappealing, so unhappy. I'm telling you right now, those people, they present the life. Like here's some more truth for you. Like the happiest moments, the coolest moments, nobody's ever seen. I don't put it on Instagram. The coolest shit I do doesn't make it to social media. The people like that, anything they do that's remotely cool or neat, they post because they have to do that to keep attracting all these people.
Of course.
The people that are really happy and really doing things, don't be posting that stuff. You don't need to. I'm too busy in the moment. Like the last thing I want to do when I'm living like a crazy and memorable moment for me is pull my phone out and record it so I can share it with my bunch of strangers. Like, nah. Like I'm too busy doing cool shit to make Instagram clips of it. Like the people that build all their content around that's not real. That's what they want you to see and present to you to get the attention to then sell you the course.
Yeah. Isn't it a trip how these coaches too nowadays, they all talk like they're how you say we're evangelists?
Yeah. Like evangelism, like you evangelize.
They're like gurus now because they lost a little weight. They got lean. They're no longer drinking. You see them breaking beer bottles and dump. I get it, bro. I'm sober too, 2 years. I get it. It's good for you. I get it, but not everybody's ready for that journey yet.
Yeah, I think it's actually a sales tactic. You're tapping into an emotional hot button, right? Like you're one of the best ways to sell people online is to hit the insecurity button, right? This is why, you know, we wrestle a lot with using client before and afters because I know how valuable that can be.
Yeah.
And it's people want to see that before. But what you're doing is you're tapping into that emotion. You're tapping into that feeling and tapping into the, recovering addict and the I found God and the all that. You're tapping into an emotion that people use to then sell people with. And so it's a common practice, and it's unfortunate that we live in a world that it's used and abused for monetary reasons. And, I guess for the consumer, just be careful with where you spend your time and your money too. Like, I just think that there's a lot of people out there that aren't really who they say they are. And
they're not congruent, as that one guy likes to say. You gotta be congruent. Like, bro, you're saying be congruent. You're not congruent yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's there's a lot. I also think we're at a time right now where I think it's still new enough that these people get away with it. I do think that it'll fade. There was a time when people used to do chain letters, and there was a time when pyramid schemes were really popular.
I remember that era.
Yeah, and so this is the era. We'll look back 10 years from now. You might remember that era when you just got 1,000 or you get 10,000 followers on Instagram, and then you could sell hella people coaching courses.
Yeah.
We'll look back at this time as more and more people become privy to the hustle and what's going on.
Yeah,
I think. And when that's all those people can do, they have no other value to provide. I think you're going to see it go away.
It's going to hit the ceiling soon.
Yeah.
That's what my wife predicts.
Yeah, I think it's already. I think you're already seeing. I mean, back to the guy that we keep referring to. I mean, he's sold off a lot of his whips. I'm sure he sold them off because revenue ain't moving the same way that it was.
Revenue ain't moving. There's some hokey stuff going on with those cars and pink slips and registrations. There's a lot of weird stuff behind the scenes going on.
Yeah. I mean, you can only live that shell game for so long. And like I said, I could tell you, and I mean that person has to be making at least $100,000 a month, which is good money. But when you got 1 million people paying attention to you and you're selling coaching courses for $5,000 or $10,000 a pop, you only need a very small percentage of those people to buy into that course for you to fund that lifestyle, at least for a little while. And so, but eventually that starts to run out. Eventually enough people do it and go like, oh, this is BS, or oh, this isn't a real business entrepreneur. This is just some bullshit coach who's like, giving me like Wayne Dyer quotes and shit. Like this is stuff I can get the local library. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I read 48 Laws of Power and I'm going to use it on you.
Yeah.
Do you think Instagram's ever going to crack the whip and crack down on all this going on? Because there's been a lot of people who try to do chargebacks and get their money because they realize like this isn't a real thing.
No, I don't think so. And I don't think I would want it. Like I'm always a less government, less regulation type of person.
Yeah.
I think this is the best way to combat it. I think
talking about it.
Yeah, talking about it, sharing it with people. I'm not a fan of regulation because all that does is that empowers somebody else who gets to be the authority who says, you're doing it wrong, he's doing it right, she's okay, you're not okay. And that's a dangerous thing to give anybody that power.
Yeah.
So I would never want Instagram or some authority to have the power to decide who's doing it legitimately and who's not, because that gets even more shady, because then that person has power and control over these people and gets to dictate who's playing more fair or not fair. I'd much rather let the market decide. Go ahead and let all the charlatans hustle and do their thing and be full of shit.
Yeah.
And then people like us will spit game and let everybody know like, hey, listen, that person's probably not who you think they are. And then reviews and things like that. So I think those people, I think they eventually get theirs, and I think it eventually comes around. And then I also, like I told you before, I don't think they're happy. I think they're chasing something and they're empty inside too. And so not only are they've got a business that probably won't last for very long, but they're also unhappy while they're doing it. And so eventually the ride stops and the consumer gets smarter and they figure it out. And so that's kind of, I hope that I don't want regulation. I don't want Instagram to step in. I think we should do our due diligence as consumers.
Yes.
Before we write a check for $5,000 to some, buff tattoo guy online, like probably do our homework a little bit and go like, am I going to get what I want from this person? And is it worth that much money before I go do that? So I think it's every bit our responsibility to to figure that out.
Yeah. And I told you off camera or a few days ago or a week, I don't know if it was a few days ago, a few weeks ago, when somebody in the space hit me up and I asked you what you thought of him. And I said, guess what he charged me? For 12 months, he wanted $100,000. I know you're like, no.
No, definitely
$100,000, bro.
I'm trying to remember
months.
who it was right now because I don't remember. I know we talked about the other guy. I'm trying to remember who else you brought up to me, but there's very few people out there. You know, here's another thing that's funny too. Again, I'll just share you personally. Okay, I am not, by no means am I a Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk business acumen guy. I've built a pretty successful business. I've built several businesses that are pretty successful. I get offers all the time for people to do one-on-one calls with me for an hour. I am offered thousands of dollars for an hour Zoom call from me. There is an opportunity for me to do at least 10 to 20 of those a month, every single month. I don't do them because I know that 10 hours or 20 hours that I put back into my other business will pay me even more than what those individuals can pay me that. And so people need to understand that math. Like somebody who's
not trading time for money.
Well, yeah, and my business, again, I'm not even at the level of these big guys, okay? But my business is so successful and so powerful that if I have an extra 10 hours that I can put into my business, it will return me way more than that hourly for $5,000 or $3,000. And so anybody who's willing to trade their time for that kind of money from people should tell you right away that their other business they're doing must not be that successful, or else why would you do that? Why would you sell me on $50,000 or $100,000 coaching thing where you have to get on a call with me once a week or bi-weekly or whatever it is, which mass out to this much hours per month? And then you have to start asking yourself, wait a second, how many times would this guy really do that if his business that he claims is making tens of millions of dollars? Like, no, like that's why I do that. Like my time, and it's hard for me because a lot of these people that are willing to pay me are my friends. They're like, Adam, dude, like, just let me. And I'd rather be like, listen, we'll go grab coffee, we'll chop shop, we'll talk business, I'll help you out. For sure. I don't feel comfortable taking that money from you, and I don't think it's worth it to spend that kind of money on me. And I just got to be real with you. It's not worth my time to do that. It's if I got an extra hour to spend that someone's willing to pay me a couple $1,000s, if I put that extra hour into the business that already makes tens of millions of dollars for me, I make tens of thousands of dollars in return. And so it doesn't make sense to do these one-on-one calls with people. And so people just got to figure that out. It's like, okay, if someone's willing to do all these one-on-one calls, they must not be really killing it in their business that much because they're willing to take those calls for that kind of money. Yeah. So just keep that in mind too. It's like, because that's, which is why do you guys think that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos don't sell one-on-one calls with people, or else those guys, I mean, imagine what those guys would get paid for a single hour, yet they still wouldn't do it. So somebody would probably offer Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk $50,000 for an hour call, but yet they still don't do it. Well, they don't do it because those guys make even more money focusing on their current businesses already. So the guy who's trying to sell the $100,000 coaching to you or whatever, you have to ask, like, is his business that he currently does, is it that successful? Like, why would he spend that time with me if he's killing it? If he's making millions of dollars, why would he spend that time with me just to make $100,000? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't math. But what it is they pretend they have these big businesses. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about now. You're talking about the bald sales guy, right? Is that who it was? Was it the bald car sales guy? The other grifter?
No, not that clown.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
not that clown.
That's who I thought it was. Because he's up there too with that.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Another person that is grifting on people.
He leaves a message for his coaches to portray like
like he's he's talking to them personally.
Oh, your boys Baller Busters. I love that page.
I know.
They're ousting all these.
Yeah, they call all. I love those guys too because they are. And that's how I'd rather this get policed. It's like, hey, if you're curious, you've thought about hiring a coach online, like go follow a page like Baller Busters because they're out there busting all these guys that are claiming that they are got these uber successful businesses, but then yet they're taking all these one-on-one coaching calls for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. It's like, wait a second. If your business was making millions of dollars, your hour of time is worth more than that. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense.
Plus, I know you talk a lot about your wife. You love her dearly, your son, and your time is valuable with them.
Yeah, that's another great point. I mean, it's like I'm at a place, and again, I want to I don't even think that I'm at the level of some of these guys claim to be ballers. And I'm already at a level where it's like, someone could be like, Adam, I want to pay you $2,000 for this 1 hour call. And I'm like, that $2,000, I'd rather go spend that hour with my son. If I actually have a free hour that's not dedicated to the business I already do, $2,000 is not enough to keep me from not spending that time with my wife and kid, which you would think, again, these guys that are that successful, that have got that much money coming in, would make that same trade. And I don't claim to be anywhere near the level they all claim to be at. And I am already at that level where I'm like, yeah, no, it's not worth it to me. As juicy as that may sound to the consumer or someone who's listening right now, like, what? Yeah, right. This bro turns down I turn down $2,000 Zoom calls all day long for that reason. My time with my wife and kid are fine. My business makes so much money that $2,000 extra, $10,000 more a month doesn't move the needle for me. So it's like, why would I do that and take away that time that I can spend with my kids? And so it makes me scratch my head when these big Instagram people are willing to do that. Either that or they're doing things like who you're talking about, where he pretends like he's having the call. Because I guess I could do that, right? I could say, yeah, you get a 1 hour Zoom call with me for $5,000, and then I record something that gets repeated to 10 other people, and then you know what I'm saying? So there's a way to hustle you and make you think you're getting me or whatever like that. But no, if you're really getting me and you're really paying that money, like, I must not be doing that well if I'm spending that kind of time doing that. So
yeah,
easy way to.
And to people who don't know who you are, never heard of you, probably like, yeah, right. He's selling fake news or blah blah blah. Like, just because you're not flashy online, don't mean you ain't got it.
No,
that's the difference.
No, and in my experience too, that's the other thing. Like, I've had the opportunity to hang around a lot of really successful people, and what I have found, at least in my experience, the more successful these people are, the more they hide it. Yeah, like they're like, you get a little bit of success and there's still a bit of that. And I've experienced this myself. When I first started to taste that financial freedom and money and stuff like that, there's a part of me that's still insecure from the kid who never had money. And so there's this desire to flaunt it, to show it, to brag about it, to all the things, because it's
tempting. Yeah,
it feeds the ego. I'm still insecure about it. But then you move beyond that. And I've moved so far beyond that it's like, I don't want to flaunt that. I already see what it does to family and friends that are close to me. Everybody thinks I'm a bank account that I can just finance. And so the more I flaunt it, the more I attract that shit. And really wealthy people know that and see that. So they're like undercover about it. And that's been my experience, is when I meet people that are like, the people that should be taking $100,000 coaching calls and things like that, like, they ain't talking about money. They're not trying to show money. They're like trying to be away from that because everybody knows I got it and everybody wants to borrow it from me or wants it from me. And so, yeah, the people that tend to flaunt it are trying to pretend they're somewhere when they're really not. And so I typically look through that lens, and that typically what I see when I see these people online. I don't really see like uber successful business entrepreneur guys that killed it, that are now making money. It's like, nah, there's some guys that I know that have got the toys and got the things, and you get to see it a little bit online, that I know personally that have made it. So doesn't mean like it's a guarantee that just because you show it online that you're also not. I mean, you can be,
for sure.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on how you do it. An example of that, like, my buddy Andy Versella over at First Form.
I know Andy is.
Yeah. We became good buddies over the last few years, and he had all these toys long time ago, and nobody knew about it. Which I feel like that's kind of like what you find out from somebody. It's like he's recently shown some of them online, and I think it's similar to me, where people are asking us about them. So I get a lot of people that follow me that know I'm a car guy, and they know that I have some, and so they want to know. Yeah. And so I find myself sharing a little bit of that because I have an audience that wants to see it. And that's kind of what I've seen with him, is like, he's started to show people, but he had that shit 15 years ago, and he didn't use it to get attention online to then sell you something. It's like he built a legitimate, huge business, and behind the scenes, he's been into cars and buying cars and doing the thing for a really long time. So
I didn't even know about him doing that. Car guy.
Bro, have you seen his car collection?
No.
Probably one.
Check it out.
Probably one of definitely anybody that I know personally, baddest car collections I've ever seen.
Wow.
He's got 2 Bugattis. He's got an F40, an SVJ, a 918,
F40 right there.
Carrera. Oh yeah,
Game over.
He's got everything. He's got every.
Game over.
He's got every collector super exotic car you could probably want, and then a bunch of other ones too. Yeah, no, he's got a sick.
That's what I'm saying. The real Uber, like you said, guys are up there. They don't floss.
That's what I mean. Like you didn't even know it,
these
right?
tech billionaires that live here in Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
they're richer than everybody.
And he's had it for a long time. So he's been. I mean, I remember when we first started chatting online, and because I saw when he just recently bought the SVJ, and I'm like, man, I meant to tell you, I was so surprised that you just now got the SVJ out of all the cars. He's like, bro, he's like, that's a long story with Lamborghini. He's like, I've been buying Lamborghinis for like 20 years and I've bought like 12 of their cars and they diss me on this. And so out of principle, he stopped buying them for a long time. So like, and I'm like, oh damn, that just goes to show you this dude's been in the game and been buying this stuff for a long time and people didn't know. And because I thought that was so strange, like all these cars you have, you just got up on that car. And he's like, no. He's like, I stayed away from them for a long time because I got really annoyed that they didn't give me an allocation for a car after I'd already been one of their top buyers for a long time. I was like, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Like guys like that got it like that. Like they've had it like that for a long time. They didn't need to flaunt it to build their business. They built a business, and behind the scenes, they've got some cool stuff, you know? So, and I'm attracted. Those type of people, I'm attracted to. I think that's, for sure. I like that. I think that's cool when I meet somebody or find out about
chasers.
Yeah. No, totally like that. So.
Man, it's been dope, man. I wish we had more time. Like, I could do a few of these with you. We could talk forever because it's fun. You know, I actually have a lot of fun doing this.
It's always good catching up with you. I enjoy it too. So a little bit of reminiscing, a little bit about new bullshit that's going on right now.
I just want to get your opinions on things. And I'm always like you always said, try to learn 5 new things a week. And I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to game myself up.
Yeah.
That's where like a lot of people our age is like they stop learning, they give up.
Oh. Totally, man. I think, one of my favorite quotes is, I know that I am wise because I know that I know nothing. And so I operate from a place of, what am I learning right now? Who am I attaching myself to that knows more than I do in an area? Like I'm always seeking that. I also think that it's very fulfilling. Aside from just growing and gaining the hustle and making more, doing more, which is all awesome and all part of growth.
Yeah.
But it's just fulfilling to be around others that seek growth, want to be better. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better leader. And so I think it's so important to surround yourself, attach yourself to people like that. And so, yeah, I enjoy those types of conversations for sure.
That's dope. Hey, let them know where they could follow you at, find you, give them your handles, everything. Cause I want them to, you guys preach a lot of good stuff. Yeah,
so you can, you can literally Google Mind Pump and find us anywhere. I tell people that have health and fitness questions, we have a really cool AI tool called askmindpump.com. You can use that and get a really sophisticated answer as if it was being answered by me or one of my co-hosts. And then it'll link you to long form conversations that we've had with some doctor around that or personally us talking about it. And so I would go there. We're on YouTube, Spotify, all the places under Mind Pump. Or go check all that out. And like I tell people, don't buy anything from me. Go check out all the free stuff that we have. We've put so much time and energy now over a decade of producing good, free, valuable content. Go eat up all that. And one of the best ways you can support is just support, follow, like, leave a good comment if you learn something, and pretty easy to find.
That's true. He gives a lot of value. So there you have it, guys. Follow, and I'll see you on the next one.